Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Alienware Awesome Cup Championship weekend. Here we are at the...
Here we are.
Yeah.
One of the games.
My name is Slow Wolf, and joining me is the trustworthy, inestimable, and unobtainable Jester.
I am unobtainable.
Unobtainable.
Unattainable.
You cannot be contained.
Oh, man. So that was a great break. I definitely...
I feel rested.
Yep.
I went out. I had a run. I ate a full-size pizza. Went into a weightlifting competition. I almost won it. Lost out to a bear. I then joined a circus. Went to Istanbul. I went all over the place. I had a crazy time. Where did you go for your vacation?
I got second place in a beauty pageant. That's all I did.
You mean second last place, right?
Ouch. So there's only 3 people. What are you saying? What are you saying? My God.
I don't know what I'm saying.
We are, it's just kind of, having some fun over here in the studio. But yeah, we have had to change teams because technical issues. But we do know that the draft is underway for these two. And Boss and All Stars. This is almost like a fight between two.
Boss and Ion.
Boss and Ion, right? Because of course All Stars is in the other one. But either way, these two teams, they've been around a while. These are not new teams.
Especially not Boss.
This is almost one of our few matchups is actually old versus old.
Yeah, and Ion is still relatively new by Bosses. In comparison to Boss, Boss has been around for ever.
Before our time?
No, since the beginning of my time. I've been here. I've been here for quite some time, young boy. And, yeah. But no, Boss has been around for a long time.
I got mine Christmas 2013. When did Knots come out? Summer 2013?
It was April on Xbox, and then it came out on Steam in July or August
Maybe it
of that
came
year.
out 2012.
Yeah,
actually, because it's 2015 now.
Yeah, it's been 3 years.
Right.
So yeah, 2012. I've been around since August, or approximately 2 weeks before my channel started is when it came out on Steam.
And Boss was already a team.
No, we didn't have teams back then yet.
Team.
It was a cheat.
They were high up on the ladder boards. I mean, these guys are numerous rank 1s across both teams. League 1. It's almost hard to actually find somebody not in this top 8 that's not League 1 right now.
Yeah. No, all these teams have at least one member in top 8 or a lot of members in League 2. Like, everybody is exceptional in this top 8.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
very high up on those leaderboards. I don't know specific numbers, but they're all in the a large chunk of them are in the top 250.
I actually tried to look up the leaderboards and just kind of sits there going like this. So there must be a lot of people on Awesome Knots right now.
Like this, just
yeah. Woo, 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 woo. Yep. That was my impression of Coco. Woo, 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 woo,
woo. Woo, Coco.
I love Coco. She's in our background. She's a top tier pick. She's a great band. Overall, great knot.
Oh, she's
History's seasons 1 through what? 12 now? I think we're on.
And Coco
it's just
has
Coco.
Been
That's my entire history.
Yeah, and the pros seem to agree with you, Jester, because she's either the most banned or the most picked knot in this tournament so far. I swear.
I have a 70% win rate with Coco with 3,247 kills.
Somebody out there is laughing at you, and a bunch of other people are going, "Wait, you played how much?"
Yeah, that's true. It's my highest win rate, but she's also my highest. That's a lot. Genji, 18 kills, 90% win rate.
Hey.
Yeah.
I helped.
Oh, yeah, that's all you. That's right. My bad. Let's see actually if the leaderboard will actually load up. And it does actually now.
Huzzah. Yeah, we can take a look at the overall right there. And already right at the top.
99 Nikki. Yeah. Toilet Humor, Harry Butchers, Blah. All guys that we've seen today.
Yeah, that's in the top 20. Malkno is also up there.
Yeah, Malkno, actual rank 20.
Yeah, from Ion.
Yeah, so clearly, I mean, these guys, they know their ranks. They've been around the block, and they're here for that chance at the Alienware Alpha, that first prize at so much cash in their pocket.
Cash, Steam boxes,
yep.
Which is the closest you're going to get to Steam becoming a console for the...
More or less, yeah.
Like we said, nice straight lines and sexy non-existent curves.
Doesn't matter that they're non-existent.
Yeah, I suppose
it's a very clean-looking box, and playing Steam on your TV, that's becoming more and more a thing. Like TVs and monitors these days, almost virtually interchangeable. But I don't want to lug my computer all the way from my room all the way to the TV, and then I got to do all the controllers I don't have. If I don't have an Xbox or a PlayStation, I can't control them. And just too many things.
Yeah, it can be really.
Get a nice cheap Steam box.
Yeah.
Put it right there. Play all your games. Logs into all your Steam, all your friends, all your library.
And these ones come with Awesome Knots, right? It's just like, hey, look.
Well, everybody's coming here with 15 copies. I don't know if the actual box will come with it, but I do know a launch title for it will be Austin Knots.
Right on.
Right.
Which means that, yeah, Knots is bigger, getting bigger than that.
Knots has been top 10 Steam before.
Yeah.
It actually rode top 10 Steam a long time last year.
Yeah, and it's still continuing to prove to be like one of the most played games on Steam. It's a really solid game, and it's come a long way. I remember when I first started playing, you only had 8 characters. Leon, Lone Star, Froggy, Voltar, Yuri, and Clunk.
Remember Battle
coupled
Voltars?
with Coco and Derpel. Oh my gosh,
Battle
Voltars.
Voltars.
I remember I used to play Voltar. I used to think I was good. And then they got rid of Piggy Bank. And then I started being bad.
And then he got nerfed and nerfed and nerfed. And we don't see him anymore.
No, well, again, his coming into this, they nerfed him. They made sure that his heal bot had a tiny little area like it used to have when he was just a wee beginning knot and the beginning and the birthplace of Austin Knots. It was like this tiny little thing, then they expanded it, and now it's this tiny little thing again. So Voltar, hard to use these days, hard to use effectively. So we're not seeing him, but we have seen a lot of other cool characters come in and out of this tournament.
And I've been told now that we actually have the draft ready to go. So, cool characters, who are they going to pick? Which cool cats are making the cut for this first game of Ion and Boss?
I let my creepy smile be my send-off to you. As we move into these draft picks and bans, Ion going to go ahead and ban out a Frog to start. Boss going to ban out that Leon. Ion then going to first pick a Coco. Boss going to do the same, and then second pick a Penny. Ion in response picks up a Swiggins and bans a Vinny. Boss bans out the Skoldeer. Ion picks up a Penny, and Boss picks up their Scoop. So, the end lineups being very much the same.
Swiggins made it through. That's a big thing.
That's the first time in these finals that Swiggins has made it through. Yeah, that's odd, considering how often we've seen Swigs just banned outright. No one wants to deal with the Squid. The Squid is not on anyone's list of things to deal with. So we have practically a mirror match here. We got Coco's on either sides, Penny's on either side. The difference being the Swiggins and the Scoop, and what a difference it is. When we were talking about what Swiggins and Scoop do, Swiggins starts fights really nicely. Just, grapple, drop. They're not moving anywhere. They've taken a ton of burst. It's a good way to just get things started off on the right foot. Scoop, on the other hand, doesn't do a lot of damage, but he can start things safely. It's not like he has to be close to people to make sure that a fight goes out the way he wants it to. And as a result, Boss's lineup, much safer. Going to sit in the back and wait for those opportunities to present themselves. Ion, on the other hand, going to be a lot more aggressive. They're going to jump at the chance to make anything happen, and that's what that Swiggins does. It makes those fights start, and I fully expect Ion to be extremely aggressive. If they take off, it's going to be very bad for Boss because of this practical mirror match. If Scoop doesn't manage to provide that comeback mechanic for Team Boss, Ion could win potentially very, very quickly. However, if Boss manages to weather the incoming Squid Storm, the Calamari Catastrophe, then it could be a game in favor of Boss to start things off.
No, this is also a very typical Ion kind of lineup. They get themselves that Coco, and they put a high DPS with it, and then something of a decent initiator. In this case, Swiggins. So, guys, I say we find out what's going on in Aguilon as we're going to jump here into game number 1 of this best of 3 of the winners semis. Very hype because the winners here secure themselves into the winners finals. And that means one step closer to those Alienware Alphas.
Which is awesome for them, obviously. So, Ion! On the left side, we're on Aguillon. Actually, that's the thing. So, we're going to see the purple place, the purple palace of pain once more as we move into this first game on this best of 3. Rest Robbie playing your Penny Fox on your Coco. You've got Nata Pop. And then finally, G-Dove on your Squiddly Squiggins.
Squiggles.
I like squiggles. Cannoli, playing your Coco. You got Penny being played by Curb Derb yet again. And finally, Bad Joe on the Scoop. So, as I mentioned before, this depends a lot on this mirror match and who's going to end up taking it out. Bad
Hammer
Joe
to the face.
Going to just, it's hammer time. And the Scoop of Justice manages to pick up the first blood 30 or so seconds into this game. So the Bad Joe factor proving to be very real in this particular case. And that's going to be a thing in this game is can Bad Joe just weather this? Can he kind of support his team enough that the Swiggins doesn't end up being the firecracker that Ion really needs him to be?
Well, I hear that a lot of people like Bad Joe, especially there in the chat and Reddit. So the Bad Joe factor is definitely something you got to take into consideration here. Curb Derb has now played Penny more times than I care to count, and I know Cannoli. He's definitely one of the guys that back in the day taught me a little bit about how to play Coco. I directly actually blame him for kind of getting me into the Coco whole thing. So I'm very excited to see what he's going to do with her here. A little bit of a collapse there on top of Ion, but they're going to live a little hurt, but not nearly as hurt as the Bad Joe. He's going to head on back. That's all right. Cannoli's going to be pushing out a little bit ball for ball, and Curbdibs is just going to hold down the fort top. Yeah,
and that Pulse proving to be a very useful farming tool when she gets the combo points to just send it out, get those last hits, force other people off of them. Cannoli doing a really good job of placing those lightning balls to keep the creep wave a little bit closer to her turret where she's safer. Badjo taking the grapple, taking the drop, and now Natapop may be in a rough spot. Down comes the damage, and the claw picking up the kill there for Kirby Derby, now also at 4 combo points. So they managed to keep all their HP, and they're in a really good position to just start taking this game. G-Dub taking a lot of damage. He's going to end up going down to a well-placed claw as well. And Boss going to take the first 3 kills of this game 2 minutes in. That was a really commanding couple of kills right there.
I was a little confused as to exactly what Natapop was trying to do, because he went immediately into the corner in that bottom area and got off that ball, which propelled people towards Robbie, but he then got sandwiched. It's like, what was the intended follow-up there? I mean, we didn't have a rail-in. The Swiggins was actually above ground, not underground, so it wasn't going to be a ball into a anchor kind of hook. So I'm just very curious what that was. It clearly didn't work because he got collapsed upon, and then, of course, more deaths and more kills. And there he goes once more as Curb goes on a killing spree. It's sitting here at 3-0.
3-0 already. That's really tough. Oh, Bad Joe getting taken out.
The G-Dove factor.
Yeah, G-Dove factor proving to be a little bit too real for the Bad Joe factor. Oh, that grapple. Really well hit, but unfortunately did not pull Swiggins where Swiggins wanted to go. That drop, not going to be a reality for G-Dove, and that's going to be a missed out kill. The kill that never was onto Curb Derb.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. So yeah, Bad Joe going down, unfortunately. He's going to pick up Boots now and piggy bank. Swiggins now is piggy bank in 1 rank of Blue Heart Metal, which is a very important upgrade to have. It's his most guaranteed form of burst, and if there's one thing that Swiggins likes, it's his burst.
It's also his tea with cream.
Ah, that's true.
I like
tea with cream. If it's okay. Like, he's not impolite. He does make sure that he's asking if it's fine first.
Am I offending you with my cream?
Am I offending you with my cream and my tea?
We've been seeing that upgrade quite a bit, though, as first pickups here for Swiggins. It's either that or, what, the grapple damage on the immediate?
Well, Purple Heart is the grapple damage. The drop damage, not normally a first pick. Bad Joe going to get a sandwich there, but Cannoli going to pick up a double kill off the back of that, and Kirby Derby going to finish that off for a 3-man wipe.
That was
4 minutes
a sandwich.
Into this game. That was a very painful sandwich, topped off with calamari, a little bit of game meat, and then some squiddles on the cocoa. So that was not a very good sandwich to be the meat and potatoes of, as it were. But Boss feasting off of it nonetheless. They've now got 7 kills to the 2 on Ion, currently sitting on a 4-0 Penny and a 2-0 Coco. So they're doing really, really well for their high damage characters that need the solar to really get going. A nice little creep steal there out of Cannoli, putting out that ball, and every little bit it helps.
Goes through walls, man.
Yeah, it's like those little plays do so much.
Oh, yeah. Now
Swiggins, there you go. Now you've got the upgrades that you're talking about.
Yeah, so yeah, he gets a little bit extra burst there. High risk, high reward. But if he lands it, it's going to land into almost a guaranteed kill at this point. Bad Joe coming right back into that fight with no hit points, just trying to throw out those hammers to help out his team. But doesn't actually look like we're going to be able to score a kill here from Ion. They do get everyone low, and everyone's actually going to be heading on home. And they have a little bit of map pressure now under their belt. But at the same time, what can they do with it this early? They don't exactly have a tower pushing comp.
No, they don't. That much is true. But they do have more tower damage now that Cannoli has picked up 2 ranks of the particle conductors. That's a lot of left click damage. That can do a lot to turrets, the droids, everything. Cannoli now going in for this left click, doing his best to do some damage before going off and picking up some HP. Now Swiggins has picked up both ranks of his Purple Heart Metal, which means that his burst off of grapple is definitely up there. He now also has the mechanical spoon in a teacup. That is the upgrade that allows his anchor drop to do damage when the chain link breaks. And it breaks if you break the anchor or at the end of a time limit. So it's guaranteed damage. It's definitely a very strong upgrade to pick up once you've got the rest of the burst.
Yeah,
in comes the bindings. Yeah, and it definitely hurts. There's a certain point where once someone's dropped and they're low enough, you can just watch them suffer as they try to struggle against the chains that eventually kill them. It's maybe a bit sadistic, but it does the trick. It does the work that you need it to do. However, that's not all the burst that's on the field. We got Kirby Derby picking up 2 ranks in the bug jars. That means that her pulse does a lot of extra damage now. And we've got both ranks of Idol of the Ice Queen coming out for Bad Joe. Bad Joe going for that 300 damage binding burst now.
He did this before in the quarters.
Yeah, absolutely. And it works really well with the amplified damage off of Kirby Derby. Out comes the pulse, then the bindings. The bindings are real. It's going to hit for 380 on G-Dove. So, well, 379 to be specific, but it's still a lot.
You once.
Just this once. Everybody gets one. But in this case, Bad Joe, his bindings normally don't do a lot of damage because he's a Scoop. Scoop just doesn't do as much damage as other
Scoop's
knots.
a hammer man.
He's definitely helping out. And Natapop goes down. Cannoli managed to get those left clicks on there. Curb Derb gonna get out of there as best as he can, and Cannoli gonna cover their escape with a well-placed lightning ball. So.
Well, so far, Boss has taken a very commanding lead here early on. In terms of the solar, we're looking at a factor of 2 just between the Cocos. We're almost on par here with the Swiggins, but then we're lagging behind about 400 or so, maybe a little less after that. But overall, it's still very much a solar gain here for Boss. They do now actually put up a 3rd kill here from Ion with that collapse there on top of the curve there. Don't think he actually saw that one coming. But Bad Joe and crew, I mean, again, we don't have really big tower pushes from either side. So what else can you do? I mean, it's you got to get the kills, and that's exactly what they're doing. A nice anchor collapse on top of the Coco. She didn't have the ball because she tried to use it to push people away, which means that the anchor lived.
And earlier she had used that to be able to break the anchor and save herself, and when she was stuck in a swing situation. But she she managed to get away in that case. But in this most recent one, you're right, she didn't have the ball to do what she needed to do, and she ended up dying. Bad Joe now in a bad spot. The binding's not going to come out early enough to save him. Rusty Robbie going to pick up that kill there. And Ion now looking a lot better, 5-8, but they've managed to bring it back from 8-2.
Yep.
So
3 kills in a row. Yeah,
they're doing quite well. That Swiggins burst just proving to be king in this particular situation, coupled with the Penny Pulse. That's a lot of extra damage, a lot more than Scoop can put out.
Coco Ball, the Pulse, and the Pounce, the double Ps, in Anchor. I mean, as you said, it's bigger bursts. So if he gets off that, the grapple, and then he gets off the anchor, it's almost a guaranteed kill at this point, unless you do have those cooldowns ready at your fingertips, and that's not always going to be the case. Actually running out of cooldowns right there, Roster Robbie, so he's going to be out of luck right there. G-Dove does get hit by that hammer, but he's going to be okay. Gravity was on his side. Now Curved and Cannoli should be able to actually take out this tower, and all 3 of them traveling as a unit. Yeah, they're not looking for that lemming effect. The Squid will actually be having enough tea with cream in order to get that kill, but he trades it out.
He trades it out, but he ends up picking up a couple more upgrades. His burst is now extremely real. 2 more ranks in that mechanical spoon. So that anchor drop, if that hits, that's going to hurt.
Robbie just lost like all his health.
Yeah, Pulse will definitely do that on top of a hammer. The hammer now has Twisted Lance, so the farther away you are from it, the more damage and snare it'll do, and now it has an exceptionally long range. So arguably some of the 240 best solar you'll ever spend on Scoop is picking up that upgrade. It's a very strong one.
Natapop again just gets hit by this 4 combo point blast. It's just absolutely doing damage because we don't have any pills on the board for either side.
No, and that's the thing that's going to continue to be a reality for some time still, as both teams really need to continue to focus on their burst, considering just how bursty their comps are. They need to get that damage out in order to win these fights, and if they go for pills now, they will not be able to get the burst that they need in order to farm for kills immediately. So
Joe's invis here, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so, and he's going to go in with a burst, but that binding's not going to do a lot. It's still going to be enough to be able to get the kill onto G-Dove, but at what cost? So far, they've lost 2 of their own members. Ion taking the better exchange there, 2-1, only losing the Swiggins and keeping their other 2 characters alive. But out comes the hammer. Rusty Robbie and Natapop need to be a little bit more careful around Bad Joe, particularly because he still does have that burst. So if he manages to get a lucky bindings off, that could be the end of it. Yeah,
but they kept their distance. That was a long range hammer. I don't think he actually expected anyone to be there, as it were. And he moved forward. He was looking for it, but yeah, they didn't trust it, and rightly so, because as he said, that burst of bindings would have been the end of both of them. Still 11-8. We went from 8-2 to 11-8 and 8. Ion really picking up a little bit of steam as that anchor combo just has really led them into quite a few kills, and that has put them back in the game in terms of solar. They're still down a little bit, looking just again at the Cocos. There's a 300 difference right there, and past that, 3, 2, 4. It's more or less about a grand between the two teams.
Yeah, and it's a significant amount, but it's nothing that they can't overcome. And down goes G-Dove as he's in the wrong spot at the wrong time. Natapop getting caught out by Kirby Derby's pounce. Now Rusty Robbie trying to run away, but he gets hit by the hammer. He's going to end up eating the pulse as well, so he's extremely low, and he needs to run away as fast as he can. Dodges the hammer, is still juking as hard as he can. He's going to pick up both the creeps there. He's now got a decent amount of HP, but now he's got no combo points with which to escape, and down he goes. The hammer clinching the kill on what is a delayed team wipe onto the red team. Boss now going to go ahead and pick up maybe this bottom turret and do some damage to the top one as well.
I was actually curious to see if they were going to forsake this bottom lane and just go straight for the Guardian turret on top of that core. See if bring that low. That could actually be leading into an earlier core game. But playing it safe, splitting it up. That is for sure a dead turret. But yeah. Natapop, he's just like, I could kill these droids, or I could let them kill the turret and I'll take the solar. And that's exactly what he did. But, Boss are not very fond of that double kill for Kirby on the back of that pounce and pulse. And now it's just Robbie. He's thinking of it. He's thinking he can do this, but I don't think he can.
No, Penny can do a lot of cool things, but one of them is not a 3-on-1 most of the time, and particularly when you're behind. Kirby Derby putting out a pulse. I don't think he expected to get the double kill, but a misplay or out of Natapop, unfortunately, kind of put him right in harm's way and ended up picking him off. So that's going to be a 3-to-1 advantage right now for Boss as they try to pick up a couple more turrets, do some more damage, that kind of stuff. And they're doing a good job of pressing the advantage that they've managed to earn for themselves. It's now 8-to-16. The factor is now 2-to-1 in terms of kills to death, and it's looking good. They've managed to cement their lead again, although they were looking to start maybe becoming equal with Ion, but they decided, no, if we're going to be ahead, let's stay ahead. The upgrades that they're picking up seem to cement this idea. They got a Chuck's board coming out on the Coco. Maxed out pulse and range on the pulse was already a thing on Kirby Derby, but now we've also got pounce damage and the Herring Snack Badge at long last. Normally, Natapop's going to take the pulse to the face as well as the ball. He's going to end up going down, and that's now a 3v2 advantage for Team Boss.
That long-range hammer, I mean, I really didn't expect that actually lead up into anything, but Kirby, he just bounces forward, gets off his combo, and Cannoli had a ball already in the works, and, well, you can't move with a stun on top of you.
Absolutely not. And out comes the bindings on top of the pulse amplification. That was a lot. G-Dove almost down to being dead. Takes another lightning ball on the back end of there, trying to get some HP. Instead, gets some Cocoa Balls for breakfast. He's going to end up having to go home. Rest Robbie going to take the lightning ball to the face as well as that well-timed hammer. That might have been luck, but that was just bad luck mostly. G-Dove now taking a bunch of damage from Kirby Derby. Kirby Derby trying to do what he can to send G-Dove back home, but this is now looking extremely rough for Team Ion as they try to cement some form of defense, and they're just not being able to succeed in that case. And out comes the other pulse, but it's going to miss. G-Dove going to be able to squiddle away again with very little HP.
Yeah, but even after all of this is done, I mean, you're leaving your towers vulnerable to these attacks. And, superconductor on Cannoli, hammers and auto attacks, and Kirby claws. I mean, the claws are really kind of the null factor here. But, Cannoli and our Scoop, they're the ones who are really laying into a lot of these towers. I mean, yeah, sure, the auto attack damage really does help there from the Penny, but every time that there's these kills, we're just pushing forward. Boss is taking control of the map. They're taking out these turrets in very short order, and at 15 minutes, we're almost going to be looking at an open core.
Yeah, and that's exactly what Boss wants. They want to get this early game under their fingertips because Swiggins, a very strong early game character, that's going to be an almost 400 damage bindings right there.
1,000 between just the hammer and the pulse.
Absolutely, and that's about 2/3 of anybody's HP at this point in time. Is 2 ranks of pills coming out on the Swiggins, but no one else on the red team having any, and 1 rank of pills on Penny, Fox, and Coco for Team Boss.
There's the ball again.
Yeah, Natapop just barely going to survive that. This is an obscene amount of poke and burst, and out comes Bad Joe with a lot of extra damage. The Pulse going to be able to send G-Dove right down to very, very low. Cannoli looking to pick up that kill. Out comes the lightning ball. The lightning ball is just going to push into the turret, which is still his turret, though. That's going to be a kill on there. And Rested Robbie going to go down to Bad Joe's sword attacks on the back side. So now it's 3v1. Natapop, the only defender left against Team Boss's onslaught of pokey damage from afar.
Well, Bad Joe just goes back to working on this top turret. 200 damage on those hammers. That's pretty ludicrous if you ask me. Everyone does collapse down here. They're going to guarantee a turret, if not two. Cannoli, however, will get hit by that return ball there from Natapop, but again, he just has to sound the retreat, has to wait for his two teammates here. You don't want to get caught into another situation where he goes down, then it's a 2v3 defense, because that is just not going to be nearly as effective as just waiting a few seconds here and regrouping. Although, you know, regroup was effective. He did get Cannoli down low, but you know, where was Natapop? He wasn't there with that combo, and that could have easily been a kill there with that ball.
Absolutely, but no dice. Now the top turret down to 1 bar left for Team Ion. They're the only turret left remaining. So this core of theirs is going to be really exposed in short order if that top turret goes down. And it will go down at the rate this is going. It is down to 1 bar. So Ion on their back foot, not looking very good right now at all. They are trying to get something to happen here, but the Swiggins trying to start any fight would be a very difficult and lethal endeavor. It is likely suicide at this point.
Well, ball does hit. Max ball damage coming up from Natapop. This is 3 for 3. We've now seen Ion games with ball builds.
They do seem to like that lightning ball a great deal.
Yeah. There's no Heavenly Blaze on it today. We got knockback and damage, and then into Chuck Sport, but no Blaze. And
I'm not, like, maybe against a team like what Boss is running right now, Blaze would have been useful had they been a little bit, well, had they been approximately as aggressive as they are. Just the way that Boss has built their characters is very interesting. Like for a group of melee characters, and they all are melee, they're poking from a distance. And in comes the Pulse. It's going to end up hitting Gita for quite a lot. Out comes the Lightning Ball. It's not going to end up hitting Rusty Robbie, as Rusty Robbie just floats above it with the Penny Fox. Now, out comes the Lightning Ball. It's not going to end up missing Kirby Derby. Not that Kirby Derby was any real danger, but there you have it. Rusty Robbie going to just save his top turret from devastation.
Yeah, but there's a Coco there with the invis. She goes right back in. That's going to be 1 kill there. Bad Joe now going to be trying to snipe out Robbie. He is the lone defender now because Swiggins did go down on the back of that as well. Robbie gets brave. Just says, all right, well, I'm going to try to take down the Bad Joe, but you can't take down the Bad Joe factor. And this is half core, quarter core. In fact, this is probably just dead core.
Yeah, this is very likely the end of the game here as Boss manages to get off a good white 2-person kill there and clinches the game at 8-22. A really powerful game 1 out of Team Boss here in this first game of this best of 3. Yeah, that is. It's not exactly 8-46 or anything crazy like that.
81 minute.
They definitely got the snowball and kept on going with it. So that's the thing though with mirror matches like these, particularly with frail characters like Coco and Penny. We've talked about it before. Once they start dying, they don't stop. It's difficult to come back in those situations. The only time where we saw a comeback, G-Dove playing that Vinny and Spike against that early game team with the Yuri and the Na, they were able to just keep on top of things long enough that their Froggy G was able to come back. In this game, no such luck. They were unable to stay on top of things. They were unable to keep their head above water, and they just kept on sinking and sinking.
Well, I mean, this is also our first game there with the Squid. Swiggins making his tournament finals debut, so to speak. He was banned out a bunch of times, but unfortunately it just wasn't the desired effect. He was able to enable a few kills. He ended up 4-8. The rest of the team combined was 3-6, 1-8. In terms of the creeps, wasn't really that far off. It was really more just Cannoli. 92 creeps and a 7-3 score. He was just far and ahead in terms of that. He was actually, though, the poorest on his team. The most money maker there, 26.52 on the Penny.
Yeah,
Kirby Derby.
Penny did an excellent job.
10
Kirby
and 2.
Derby, yeah, 10-2, picked up a lot of kills off the back of a lot of Scoop just being that beefy character with the hammer, starting those fights with long-range pulse to back it up, full charges, like just. It was a lot of burst from a fair distance, and there's not much that Swiggins can do when he's caught out in an amplified damage situation like that. If G-Dove wants to play that Swiggins again, and as long as it's not banned, they're going to have to really think hard about maybe getting a Penny there as well, because that Penny really just demolished their team.
Well, that's what Game 2 is for, because when we come back, we will have Game 2. Boss and Ion. Will Ion tie this up, go to a Game 3? We've seen it done before. Otherwise, it's going to be a 2-0, and they're going to duck down into the lower bracket to find out if they will continue tomorrow. So, when we return, won't be nearly as long as a break this time, guys, we swear.